Alright, we're going to go over two things today. Quadratic formula, which I'm not going to spend any time on at all. I'll go over one problem, that is it. You've seen it enough, it's just plug and chug type of problem. So write down this formula. Negative b plus or minus the square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. It is a song. Make sure you have it written down. I'm going to erase everything now, so if you need to pause, pause. Alright, so when we talk about a quadratic formula or quadratic equation, we talk about having ax squared plus bx plus c. So if I add numbers to this, so I'm just going to say 5x squared minus 7x plus 3. So if I can't factor it, I'm going to plug it into the quadratic formula. Quadratic formula always works. So I'll plug in a negative b. So in this case, my b is that term. So when it says negative b, if I plug in a negative 7 to that, it's going to turn into a positive 7. So because it's negative b plus or minus the square root, since that it is a negative 7, I'm plugging in a negative there, it's going to turn into a positive. So negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared. If I square a negative, it's going to turn into a positive. So it's going to be 49 minus 4 times 5 times 3 all over 2a, which is 2 times 5. And all you're doing is simplifying this. So 7 plus or minus the square root of all over the square, or 7 plus or minus the square root of negative 11 over 10. For right now, leave it like this. If you want to simplify it or know how to simplify it, please do. But that's all we're doing for now. The next thing we're going to go over is called completing the square. Alright, it deals with squared terms, being something like, if I pick my favorite number, x plus 3 quantity squared, getting an equation to look like this. The reason why it's easy to solve an equation that looks like this, and we'll go over what it is first. So make sure you understand that when we talk about a square, we talk about something quantity squared. So saying that x plus 3 times x plus 3. So that is something quantity squared. So we're going to do this problem here. If I had x squared plus 6x minus 7 was equal to 0. Well, to complete the square, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to solve or get everything with my x's over to one side. So what I did is I added 7 to both sides. And so now I'm saying to do this is I'm going to take half of b, my b term, so I'll take 6, I'll divide it by 2, and then I'll square it. So the formula to complete the square is b divided by 2 squared. And that's going to tell us what c is equal to. So that's going to equal to 3 squared, which is equal to 9. So since this is a plus sign, I'm going to add 9, but if I do it to one side, I have to do it to the other. So it's going to be plus 9. So I will then say that this is x plus 3 quantity squared, because if I FOIL that out, it's going to give me x squared plus 3x plus 3x plus 9, and then I'll just solve for that. And then when I combine terms, I get 6x. So it's going to be x plus 3 quantity squared is equal to 16. So now to solve, if I have something quantity squared, to get rid of the quantity squared, I'm going to take the square root of both sides. So it's going to give me x plus 3 is equal to, anytime you take the square root of something, you're going to get plus or minus. So the square root of 16 is 4, so it's going to be plus or minus 4, and then we're just going to solve for this. So to solve for it, I'm going to set x plus 3 equal to 4, and x plus 3 that's supposed to be a plus sign, equal to negative 4. And so x is equal to 1 and negative 7. I will do one more example. I'm going to try to keep it short tonight. So next example, x squared plus 4x plus 1 is equal to 0. So first step is I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides. Step 2 is I'm going to take 4, I'm going to divide it by 2, and I'm going to square it. Well, that's going to give me 4. So I'll add 4 here, then I'll add 4 there. Next up, I'm going to realize that since this is 2, since I got 2 quantity squared, it's going to be x plus 2 squared is equal to 3. Solve it, take the square root of both sides. When I do that, so when we do this, it's going to be x plus 2, because anything quantity squared, take the square root of that, it's just going to be x plus 2, and it's going to be plus or minus the square root of 3, and then we just solve, so I get x is equal to plus or minus the square root of 3 minus 2 is my answer. If you want to do it as decimal, it's fine, but that is it. Guys, have a great night. See you tomorrow.